Hi everyone. I'm not a big fan of The Guardian, as regular viewers of my channel will no doubt know by now. Pretty much every story I've ever done that has mentioned The Guardian, I've called them a certain name, which I will not repeat in this video. Because a few days ago they ran 6 hit pieces on Julian Assange. I did a video about it. I'll leave a link up there. And they were all skewed in such a way that all they were trying to do with these articles, you could tell, was to try and add even more pressure on the Ecuadorian embassy to get him out, and therefore he will then be arrested by the UK on bail skipping charges, which should be dropped by now, and then extradited to America on charges such as cyber terrorism or something ridiculous like that. America want their hands on him. And The Guardian did these 6 pieces and a video, and it was shameful. It really is. But to their credit, today they have given a right of reply and published it in their newspaper online. It obviously can't come from Julian Assange because he's incognito at the moment. He's locked up in the embassy, can't contact the outside world. He's got no access to phone, internet, can't have visitors other than his legal team. But one of his legal team, Melinda Taylor, who's one of his lawyers, has done this right of reply in The Guardian, and The Guardian have printed it. And I've got to give them credit for doing this, because that I've never seen it happen before, really. Yeah, it's an opinion piece, I'm sure it's happened before somewhere, but I've never seen it happen in The Guardian. Starts off like this: Julian Assange is suffering needlessly. Why not report that? This is by Melinda Taylor. That was my whole point of my video. The guy's a hero. The guy's a truth teller. He's never had to retract anything he's ever said or anything he's ever reported. It's all been 100% fact. It's all been the truth. And he's locked up now, and it's torture. It must be torture. He's been in there nearly 8 years, I think. 7 years. Nearly 8 years. And it must be horrific. It's torture. And this is what Melinda Taylor reports on in this article. She says, the byline there is, the media's coverage of Assange's arbitrary detention has been shocking, favouring the powerful over the voiceless. Melinda Taylor is a lawyer representing Julian Assange. I won't read all the article, just a few paragraphs, just the important bits. Breaking news: a series of articles has been published by The Guardian concerning Julian Assange, splashed over the front pages. The big reveal? That after the UK threatened to invade the Ecuadorian embassy, Ecuador beefed up its security and surveillance at said embassy, and that this costs money, and there is a pressure to find a solution to a situation that has been described by the United Nations as illegal and arbitrary detention. Yeah, the United Nations have called it illegal and arbitrary detention. Lost in the lead was this: that Ecuador appears to be hoping that Assange's already uncomfortable confinement will become intolerable. I remember I mentioned intolerable and came down on that word as well. The Oxford Dictionary defines intolerable as unbearable, insufferable, unsupportable, insupportable, unendurable, beyond endurance, unacceptable, impossible, more than flesh and blood can stand, too much to bear, past bearing, not to be borne, overpowering. Isn't the headline story that the editor-in-chief of WikiLeaks remains detained without access to fundamental healthcare? That's what the story, as I pointed out, that's what it should be. And since March this year has been cut off from the outside world, bar meetings with his lawyers, which have apparently been surveilled. It's exactly my point in the video I made. This week's articles highlight the existence of security to protect Assange and his guests, but fail to note that an intruder attempted to break into the embassy in 2016. They fail to note that the latest revelations underscore the extent to which Assange has been denied basic rights, including the right to privacy and the right to enjoy privileged communications with his lawyers. And they fail to note that right to asylum equates to an inalienable right to protection. It is not a gift that can be revoked or placate bullies or bribers. There is a series of newsworthy articles concerning Assange that should be displayed prominently in a newspaper such as The Guardian. I think it is shocking that Assange has been detained arbitrarily for approximately 8 years for publishing evidence of war crimes and human rights violations. The UK should end this situation today by providing assurances that Assange will not be extradited to the United States. Exactly right. Exactly right. The guy has needed a root canal, as I pointed out in that video, for about 3 years. That is excruciating. He also needs an MRI on his shoulder as well. He's been denied, he can't get sunlight. He's been locked up in a house under house arrest almost now for 8 years. It's inhumane. This is what the headline should be. And these are the things that I pointed out in the video, and Melinda is absolutely nailing this. The article ends with this. It is also shocking that at a time when Ecuador is attempting to obtain a diplomatic solution, the media is focusing on stories likely to bolster the position of the UK's Goliath to Ecuador's David. Exactly. The newspaper The Guardian is called The Guardian because it's meant to be the guardian of the people. It's not. It's become the guardian of the establishment, and that's the point Melinda's making there. Assange and I come from a country that often delights in executing the tall poppy syndrome. I assume she's from Australia as well then. Cutting down those who reach greater heights than we are prepared to condone. But it is also a country that subscribes to the right to a fair go. That is, to speak your mind, to have a fair chance. Assange is an easy target, but he is also one that can't speak his mind. I am grateful for The Guardian for giving me this opportunity to present these views to the diverse readership that respects and supports The Guardian's stated aim of independent reporting in the liberal tradition. And I hope journalists reporting on this predicament will bear that in mind, that comment is free, but Julian Assange is not. I've got nothing to add to this, and the only reason I want to make this video is not to highlight what Melinda's saying there, although she's absolutely right. Pretty much, I said pretty much 70 or 80% of what she's saying in that article, in that video that I did the other day. But I come down on The Guardian hard, and have done multiple occasions in my short existence as a YouTube news and politics commentator. But I think it's only fair that when they do something right, and when they publish the reply like this from Melinda Taylor, one of Assange's lawyers, I think it's only right and fair that I should come out and give credit to them. So that's what this video is all about. Well done, The Guardian. I just hope that because of the backlash that they got a few days ago from this barrage of articles on Julian Assange, none of which were headlining the fact that he's been detained when he shouldn't. None of the articles were headlining the fact that his mental and physical health must be deteriorating at a rapid rate. None of them highlight the fact that doctors have said this is cruel and unusual punishment that he's going through. I hope and pray, well, I don't pray because I'm not a religious, but I hope that The Guardian in future tailor their headlines and the rhetoric of their articles on Julian Assange and WikiLeaks accordingly. I have a funny feeling, though, that this is going to be an isolated article. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and please click the bell down there so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Otherwise, YouTube will hide the video from you. Yes, they have admitted that they do that. Also, we're facing an absolute onslaught in independent media from the establishment at the moment, including YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube whatsoever. I rely totally on the audience for me to continue doing this. So if you can afford to send me $2, $3, $5, whatever it is that you can afford through Patreon, again, the link is down there, I will be eternally grateful, and it'll allow me to keep giving you the truth and cut through the propaganda and the BS that we get from the corporate and establishment media. If you can't afford to do it, please share the video as wide as you can. Talk to your friends and family about the issues that I and other channels on YouTube who are independent raise. Thanks very much for your support. We have to fight back against this. Till next time. Peace and take care.